You also have leadership programs for teenagers.
Yes.
You know, I have teenagers.
You have beautiful teenagers.
And when I am driving them to school, when they want to listen to certain radio stations, you know, and you know, the music is a whole lot different than it was when I was growing up.
Of course.
And I am, you know, by far, you know, not as square as a lot of parents are. I mean, but some of the music and some of the concerts today are far different than what we're comfortable with. And we get concerned as parents. Are our children, you know, on this down cycle of, you know, this down cycle of morality and responsibility and work ethic? You experience this. I mean, you see these kids, you work with these kids all the time. What's going on with our teenagers? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it the same?
I think it is whatever the parents decide it is. So inside of our homes is where it all starts. You know, personal responsibility is really what you're referring to. There are teenagers that listen to the music that you may feel is not a positive influence. There are teenagers that choose not to. So I think it's about how we hold accountability in our homes and the, you know, moral code, as you're talking about, or what I call the core principles of our family. And of course, we're all greatly influenced by outside influence, but you know, again, back to what's the goal? Working with teenagers about what they want. We can, you know, when they're 12, 13, it's start talking about college and end results and developing those goals. It's the same thing. What drives us? What those influences are that drive us? And, you know, good people make poor choices. It's part of being on the journey of being a human being. We make poor choices and we fall down, and it's just important that we get back up. So directed towards teenagers, I think it's about open, honest dialogue. The teens that come through our teen leadership program, literally in 3.5 days, go from I don't want to do my homework if that's their challenge, or my mom doesn't let me, or my dad makes me, and by Sunday, the 3rd day, they're clear in personal responsibility about, you know, there's choices and there's consequences. So what are the consequences, the outcomes they want? And kids really teach us so much, don't they? I mean, they teach us a lot of great things. Yeah, I mean, we can watch our kids. They're flexible. They shift and change quickly. So, you know, come on down to a teen leadership graduation and you'll see miracles.
Yeah. How do you maintain it? I mean, you spend 3 days in your program for teens, or you spend your adult programs a little bit longer, right?
Yes.
And okay, but then eventually it ends.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Then what happens?
Well, what happens is you have, first of all, a roadmap, because while you're in the adult course, you're in the leadership program for 100 days. You're in the course 1 weekend a month, 4 weekends in a row. And so you're learning, you're creating a tool belt like we've talked about this morning, talking about a personal strategic plan. You've got that to use for the rest of your life. You mentioned something earlier that I can probably answer specifically here. You know, most people need to change their actions. Before I change my actions, what we teach is context and content. Most people are just looking at the content. If I change my actions, I'll get a different result. In reality, what we teach is take a look at who I am. Take a look at who I'm being. If I'm in a relationship and I'm being closed down, and I'm holding my partner in their history that's just how they are. They're grumpy, they don't have a great work ethic, da-da-da-da-da. Or I can make a new choice. I can be open and accepting and empowering and inspiring, and from that place, who I'm being with my partner is completely different. And just in our energy, I'm going to rise them to a different choice. And of course, in partnership, like I'm talking about, we're having a common vision. So it's really about taking a look at who am I in the world? You know, who am I for people and who are people for me? Great question to ask ourselves every single day.
And you also work with couples.
Yes.
As well, right?
Yes.
Because in the example you gave, you really had, you said in partnership. Well, what happens if you have one partner who's, you know, at a different place? Can you still improve your relationship by yourself?
Yes, absolutely, because what I'm learning and who I'm being, I'm bringing home to that partnership. And at Choice Center, we laugh about this. You know, I go to the course and I go home and gosh, my husband changes or my children are different. It's who I'm being and the choices I'm making that generate them to respond to me differently. So that's what we call 100% personal responsibility. You know, who do I need to be to create the results I say that I'm up to everywhere?
Yeah, and when you do get both partners in, then it's more effective, I would think.
Of course it is. It's an elevated effectiveness in a smaller time frame because we're getting on the same page. Oftentimes couples come in and they've had separate goal paths and they realize that's part of the static. So working together on where do we want to be as a couple and where do we want to be as a family and growing together like that's a very empowering experience.
And how important is language and the words you use in communication?
Great question, Ed. Highly important. Like maybe number one in getting started is recognizing that what I say is exactly what I'm going to create. We're very powerful with our words, and our words demonstrate where we're coming from. Where we're coming from comes out of our mouth as a conversation. That conversation then becomes a reality.
So is it a matter of modifying how you say something or what comes natural to you? And when you say something, oftentimes what you mean is not what somebody else's means or intends from what you're saying.
It's learning how to say what you mean and mean what you say to just kind of start. It's where I'm coming from. You know, so learning if I'm coming from, I'm never going to lose this weight. I've been on 20 diets and it doesn't work. And even if I stay on this particular program and lose 10 pounds, it's going to come back. If that's my self-talk, it's usually coming out my mouth and I'm saying it to my friends or in general. Maybe when I'm ordering my meal, well, guess what? I'm going to keep recreating that over and over, which is why I go back to the vision. If I have a vision to be healthy and fit and confident and have my self-esteem go up, then I'm going to take actions that come from there, and my conversation will reflect where I'm coming from.
How about the things you can't change?
Such as?
Well, your height, your sex, you're bald.
Okay.
You know, the things you can't change.
All right. Well, the things I can't change, I think what's important is to focus on what I can change, and with what I can't change, to be in acceptance of myself. It's real important that we love ourselves just the way we are, and all of us have strength. You know, I'd like to think, I actually believe that every single human being lands on the planet with, in their DNA, with a very individual, unique gift to give back, every one of us. I think it's about focusing on what do we have to be and give back, and that brings a fullness to our life through that giving back that, you know, only you can give back who you are. There'll never be another Ed Bernstein.
Right. And the world is thankful for that. So, how do people get in touch with you, Robyn?
They can reach us on our website at choicecenter.com, or they can give us a call directly down to the university.
And you have a class starting
January
right?
19th is the first class of the year, traditionally the biggest, as you mentioned. Everybody's got goals and getting started on a new path.
And how many classes do you give throughout the year?
10. Yes, 10 of the core curriculum. We have 18 different courses we offer.
Right, and you have courses with couples, you have courses with kids, you have courses with women.
Courses with
men.
family. Yeah. We have a business course for people who want to expand their business.
Well, it sounds like great stuff.
Thanks so much.
What's your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution is to increase the enrollment at the Choice Center by 50% this year, because we know that when people come and join us, they expand and accelerate their lives, and that's what we're up to. That's my vision.
Okay. And what's your resolution? Well, figure it out and take some steps, and we'll see you next week.